Alright, holy crap, holy crap. Alright. Oh my god, I think I'm gonna make it. I think I'm gonna make it. I think I'm gonna make it. I think I'm gonna make it.
Hey guys, Muskie here. So I finally came back from the dead to show you guys a game I've been working on. After working on my 2D game for a while, not knowing what was going on at all, I decided I didn't hate myself enough and I wanted to move up to 3D. And it worked. It worked great actually. So to begin learning 3D game development, I purchased a course on Udemy. In the first section of the Udemy course, you build a basic game with the instructor. The game pretty much consists of the player moving through an obstacle course, and any obstacle it touches, it turns red. So since I'm not creative and I can't come up with an original idea, I thought, why don't I just make a very difficult game? A game that has no other purpose but to be difficult. An example for this type of game would be Getting Over It.
Don't do this to me. No! What?
So after about a week, I felt comfortable enough to ditch the Udemy course and begin working on the game. I came up with a cool idea where the player would pretty much be holding the game level with two hands, so you would be in control of the level and the player would move around the level. I thought this was a cool idea, but it was hard, so since I gave up on the idea of moving the level, the next idea I had was just having the mouse move the player. But I was having a little bit of trouble. Oh my god, dude, that's not, no! Why are you scared? After just a little bit of trouble, I discovered Unity's force mode.force. What this does is adds a continuous force to your object based on its mass. Now let me give you a very scientific example. If we took any random large object, for example your mom, who happens to have a very high mass, and we applied force mode.force to her, she would move extremely slow. Now if we lowered your mom's mass and applied force mode.force, your mom would move faster because it would take less force to move her. So the next problem I had was that the player was moving at different speeds on different screen sizes. That's because the speed of the player was affected by the mouse position on any given screen. So if a user had a small screen, they wouldn't be able to move as fast as a user with a big screen. So like usual, I spent hours and hours on this problem to only find out that I'm stupid and I was trying to do it the wrong way. I pretty much just take the current screen size and turn it into a percentage. That way every player, no matter their screen size, has a maximum movement speed of 100%. Basic math. Next, I wanted to begin working on the levels. I had the idea that there should be no pause between each level on the map. So you would complete level 1, and then go right into level 2, and then 3, and then 4, and so forth. This makes the game feel endless, which is perfect because I want the game to be very difficult. To start off, I made a basic level template that I can copy and paste to chain together as many as I want. Next, I needed to figure out a way to close the last level once the player beat that level. So I created a trigger system that would tell me when the player entered the new level and exited the last level. So when the player enters a new level, there's an invisible block that gets activated that prevents the player from going backwards. Next, I want to create some new obstacles we can add to the game. Currently, the player only has a block obstacle, and if that was the only obstacle we had in the game, it would be pretty boring. So the first obstacle I made has a timer, and it'll fall when it reaches that specified time. The next obstacle is a basic spinning obstacle, and it spins at any direction and speed I set it to. And the last obstacle I made is some sort of smashing obstacle. It pretty much just goes up and down. Next, just like every professional game developer would do, I copy and pasted each level 50 times. Was there a better way, you might ask? Probably yes. So after wasting my time, I built out a couple test levels just so we could play the game a little bit. Also, why does that look like sperm? After building out a few levels, I made a quick level counter so we knew what level we currently were on. Now that we have our level counter and a few levels, why don't we give it a quick play? Okay, so apparently the computer keeping track of 50 levels at once isn't really good for performance. So my idea to fix this was having a level manager. The job of the level manager would be to load the current level the player is on and load only a few levels in front of the player. Next, as the player moved through the game, it would begin to turn off levels behind it and load only 1 or 2 levels in front of it. So at any given time, the game only has a couple levels loaded. So after a couple hours of programming, this is the final result. Now that we finished the level manager, remember earlier how I said I copy and pasted the levels 50 times and it took about 4 hours of my life I'll never get back and I hated it so much? Yeah, now I'm redoing them. So I wanted to redo all the walls and floors because it all looked really bland. But to do that, I was going to have to learn about texturing and modeling.
In this video, we'll focus on what sort of software you'll need, your mindset, where to go for great tutorials, and where the best places are to start out, and what you should be.
So I totally sat down for a long period of time and watched YouTube videos learning 3D texturing, because it's the responsible thing to do and I'm a responsible person. So I replaced all the walls with the free walls from the asset store. After that, I began copy and pasting the levels again, except this time instead of doing 50, I did 20. And to make it more difficult, I made level 10 through 20 2 times bigger than all the other levels. And to make the game look slightly better, I made the wall that blocks you off a light transparent green color. And I also made a little animation for the level text. Next, I decided to make a screen for when the player dies. Since I had no idea how to do UI or screen overlays, I went on YouTube to watch a quick tutorial. To my surprise, it was pretty simple and I threw one together pretty quickly. So the next major feature I wanted to add to the game was giving the player the ability to unlock a new skin each level. I figured the player needed some sort of incentive besides just a basic high score to try to make it to the next level. So the first step in the process is to make all the skins. So first I went to my Discord and asked anyone if they wanted a skin made of them. Anyone who replied was added to the game, and so began the long, treacherous journey of making the skins. I'm not gonna lie, this took a lot longer than I expected it to, because I knew absolutely nothing about texturing like I said before. So after about 2 days of trying random shit, I finally managed to finish all of them. So now we have all these skins, but right now they're pretty useless until we can add some functionality to them. We need to be able to store data about the skin, like what the name of it is and what level it's unlocked at. After a little bit of research, I found that Unity had something called a scriptable object. So pretty much to do this, I just make a new scriptable object script, put the parameters that I want the object to have, and then voila, you got a little scriptable object thingy. So now that we have our skin objects, we need a new scene so the player can actually select their skins. In this new scene, I added a basic sphere that we would use to apply each skin when moving through the list. Then I began creating buttons for the user interface. Now after a couple hours of smashing my head through the desk, when the player dies, they can now click skins and view and select the new skins they've unlocked. Now the only issue is if the player exits a game, none of their skins will be saved. So we have to implement some sort of save system. The first thing that came up in Google is player prefs. It's pretty much a class in Unity that you can use to store data in your registry. It pretty much just save shit. So I used player prefs to make a high score variable for the player. As the player moves through the game, the high score increases. So now when they go to the skin screen, just so you know, I hate how many times I have to say skin through. So now when they go to the skin screen, we have the high score variable that we can use to see what skins are unlocked. Next, I wanted to add sounds and music to the game. To make it interesting, I thought it'd be cool to try to make my own song. Ultimately, I decided against it. Maybe next game. Instead, I went to YouTube. Lo and behold, I found people that were actually good at music and let me download their music for free. I found some really nice retro synthwave music, which was created by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. It's really good music, so you should definitely go check out their channel. Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Please don't sue me. So I threw it into Unity, and now I had music for the main game and the skin screen. So now I wanted to add an explosion for when the player dies. I made this using Unity's particle system, and I got a free explosion sound from JFXer. Next, I recorded some motivational quotes in Audacity to give the player a little bit of a motivational boost when they die. Terrible. Garbage. You're bad. Now that the player is happy and motivated once they die, we need to actually make the player feel good when they enter a new level. So I went back to JFXer, which is an 8-bit audio generator for games. You can click different categories of sounds and it'll randomly generate a new sound for you. So I began looking in the power up section for a new sound.
The eardrum and the inner ear can be damaged by a sudden loud sound like an explosion or jet engine.
So after blowing out my eardrums, I finally found a sound I liked, but it was still too harsh sounding. So I threw it into Audacity and I added a low pass filter. Now that we have a nice level up sound, I recorded some cheesy level up voice sounds for each level. Level 1, Level 2, Level 3, Level 4, Level 5, Level 6! Next I just had to program the sounds to go off when the player entered a new level, which shouldn't be all that difficult. Level 6! You won! Level 6! You won! Level 6! You won! Now after fixing that bug, this was the final result. Level 1. Level 2. Level 3. Level 4. Now that we have all the basic game functionality running, the last thing for us to do is to build the levels. I have been completely avoiding this the whole game project, but now there's like nothing else to work on, so I actually have to do it. Now the key with the level building in this game is that I need to make these levels impossible to beat, but also possible to beat, if you know what I'm saying. So what I did is I came up with an idea of a level in my head, and then I would simply make that level. And then I would adjust all the settings with the obstacles to make it as hard as possible. And as soon as I thought a level was impossible to beat, I would play it for as long as I needed to beat it one time. And this process was going pretty good. On the first day I got about 6 hours of work done, and I was thinking to myself, wow, I'm actually about to finish my first game. And that's when it happened.
Sir, I have received word that Muskie is close to finishing his game. What should we do?
You know what I want you to do. Get it done.
But sir, he spent 6 hours.
Oh boy, I sure can't wait to finish my first game ever. Yep, Unity crashed and I lost all my progress for that day. So after this soul-crushing defeat, I decided I would live stream a little bit and build levels with my subscribers. This was actually pretty helpful because some of them told me that 20 was way too many levels with how difficult this game was. So I decided to only build 15 levels. And so naturally I named the game Only 15 Levels. I know, sometimes even I'm surprised by the genius ideas I come up with. And that's it, my first ever game is complete. I mean, it looks like complete shit, but nonetheless, I completed a game. Sweet, dude. Now try to beat it.
Wait, what? And it begins. Let's do this. No. Alright. And I'm dead. Yep. Oh, go! Go!
Terrible.
Okay. No!
Garbage.
Oh.
Level 4. You're
Oh my
bad.
god. I'm dead.
Garbage.
Oh.
Terrible. Level 8.
Oh my god, that was so close!